Welcome back to another episode of What the Poop. I'm your host, Teri Holland, and this is a show where we talk about all things related to chronic illness, ulcerative colitis, inflammatory bowel disease, and really, we talk about poop on this show. So today we're going to talk about how to take a road trip. Welcome to What the Poop, the podcast where we flesh out the realities of living with ulcerative colitis. I'm your host, Teri Holland, and after more than 3 decades of navigating the ups and downs of ulcerative colitis, I'm here to share my experiences, insights, and a little bit of humor to help you through your journey. In this podcast, we are dishing the scoop on what it really means to live with ulcerative colitis. We'll share stories, tips, and the latest info to help you navigate your journey. Whether you're newly diagnosed or you've been battling UC for years, this is your space to find community, laugh at the absurdities, and learn from others who get it. No topic is off limits, and no question is too awkward. So if you're ready to break the silence and take control over your ulcerative colitis, join me on What the Poop, because living with UC doesn't have to be a solo journey. Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts, and let's face this together. Tomorrow morning, I am leaving on a road trip with my husband. It is about 10-hour drive. It's not too crazy. We're going to do it over 2 days. So I thought I would share with you some of my tips and tricks for how to go on a road trip with ulcerative colitis. But of course, this also applies to anyone with any sort of inflammatory bowel disease, IBS, any digestive issues whatsoever. You will find some help with these tips, hopefully. So this is a road trip that we do quite frequently. Usually a few times a year, because I am from Alberta originally. My family is still in Alberta. And could we fly? Sure, but we both really enjoy the long drive. It's beautiful, especially driving through the mountains, and often we get to see wildlife we wouldn't normally see. So it's something that we both look forward to. I remember when I was a kid, we used to do this road trip all the time. My dad didn't like flying, and so we would take the road trip from Edmonton all the way out to Vancouver to visit family and relatives here. Now I'm just doing the exact opposite thing. This road trip is a little bit different, though, in that we're not going all the way to Edmonton. We're going to stop in Calgary on the way home to visit my sister for a night, but we're actually going to a mountain resort for a wedding, and it's going to be a really fun trip, I think. Okay, so ulcerative colitis and road trips. I have the benefit of having taken this exact trip, several times. And one of the things that I've found is really helpful to me is to break the drive up into 2 days. Could we do it in 1 day? Absolutely. But I find that that's really hard on me physically. Even when my colitis is under control, it can just be hard on my system. And right now, my ulcerative colitis is pretty under control. I say pretty under control because this last week threw things into a bit of a spin. I'm not sure what word I'm looking for there. So the last episode that I did, I said that my colitis was under control. But then last week, the beginning of the week, I came down with a horrible cold. You might still hear it in my voice a little bit as I'm recording this. I came down with an awful cold, and I don't know if it has triggered a slight bit of a flare-up. I don't know what happened, but my gut is not normal. It definitely threw off my microbiome or something in my digestive tract, and I haven't been feeling the greatest in that way. In terms of the cold, I'm pretty much over it. Still a little sniffly, still a little bit of a lingering cough, but that's totally normal for me. But this, it was just a cold, and now I'm having some gastrointestinal issues. So, of course, as luck would have it, right before we go on vacation, of course. So there are some things that I'm doing to make it easier on myself. And a lot of these things I would do anyway, even if I was feeling 100%, just because it's just easier on my body. Now, I don't know about you listening to this, but when I go on any sort of vacation, whether we're driving or flying, I tend to get constipated. So my issue usually isn't so much having to go to the bathroom on the road. My issue is more not being able to go, if you catch my drift. So I tend to eat really light on the days that we're driving. We break it into two because that helps. That's my first tip. But then I eat really light. So we will stock up the car on snacks that I know are safe for my body. I'll choose higher protein snacks. Usually we do things like beef jerky, things that are easy to keep in the car. So beef jerky, and we look for beef jerkies that have no added sugar and are very simple ingredients. You can often find those at the farmer's market. That's where we tend to get most of our beef jerky. But if you don't have that available to you, get what you can. So I do beef jerky. I won't eat a ton of beef jerky because it is so dry. I feel like it actually makes the constipation part worse. I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it's in my head, but I just feel like dehydrated foods are more constipating. So I guess if you're having a flare-up or you're having a bout of diarrhea right now, that might not be a terrible thing if it slows things down, right? I don't know. Again, I'm not a doctor, so don't take anything I say as medical advice. These are just my thoughts. But I do like the idea of beef jerky in that it's simple, it's easy to travel with, and it's high protein. We'll also grab things like bananas. I find bananas are always safe for me. I mentioned in another episode that we've been eating a more carnivore-based diet lately. We do that about 75 to 80% right now. So, and I don't know if I'll ever be 100% carnivore because I don't know if that's realistic for me. But I do still eat some fruits and stuff. So we're going to have some bananas because bananas are always a safe food. Even if I'm having a flare-up that's really bad, I know I can always eat a banana. Applesauce is always easy for me to eat as well. So maybe we'll grab some of those, maybe not. Applesauce to me is like a sick food, so I tend to only eat it when I'm sick, and then I don't want to eat it at any other time because I associate it with being sick. But we might grab some. I'm not sure yet. So that's another one that's easy to travel with, easy to eat on the go. Other things we do, we might stop for some fresh fruit on the drive because there's always fresh fruit stands along this drive, which is one of the benefits of it. So we might stop at a fruit stand and pick up some stuff. And rice cakes. Rice cakes they're also a very safe food for me that I can eat anytime. They're not the most exciting, but they're easy to eat. So those are the things that we tend to go for. And other than that, we stock up on, we'll drink lots of water. I'll get some sugar-free Gatorade or other electrolyte drinks just to make sure electrolytes are good. That's kind of it. And then we just eat really light on the drive until we get to where we're going. And then we'll have a more substantial dinner. And I find that works really well. So that's our plans for the drive. And then I also reached out within the ulcerative colitis community and asked other people what their tips were. And they had some really great ideas. Most of them were around exactly what I said, choosing safe foods, making sure you're stocked up with things that you know you can eat, planning out the trip to know where the stops are, where you can stop to use the bathroom. One person suggested stopping every hour, even if you don't think you have to go. And that sets the expectation for everyone you're traveling with that you're going to be stopping every hour. I think that's really smart to set those expectations. My husband, we've been together for 20 years, so he just knows we're going to be stopping and taking bathroom breaks, and he's good with that. But if you're traveling with someone who maybe doesn't know your situation yet or isn't familiar with traveling with ulcerative colitis, tell them you're going to stop every hour, whether you need to go or not, just to set that expectation. I think that's an excellent tip. Someone else suggested taking an Imodium an hour before leaving in the morning. This one is funny to me because I have to say, I don't think I've ever used Imodium. Maybe when I was first diagnosed, I used it. And it's just not something I think about taking. And then I read this and I thought, that's a smart thing to travel with. Maybe because I tend to get constipated on travel days that I haven't thought of that, but I think in general, that's probably a good thing to have on hand. Another suggestion was make sure you have a change of clothes that are easy to grab, toilet paper in the car, and wipes just in case. Great tips. And I love this one. Another person recommended traveling with a cheap bedpan set. And they say they come with liners, absorbent pads, some come with gloves. And to pack it with baby wipes, bring some extra Ziplocs, trash bags. I love that tip. I think that is so smart. I've never thought of doing that before, but a friend of a friend, or through my friend, I heard of her friend, if that makes sense, say that I guess what she does is she travels with one of those like a kid's potty. You know, like when you're potty training a child, she takes a kid's potty in the back of her car with her. And I guess she carries it. It's always in the back of her car. So if she is ever in a situation where she needs to go, she has something she can use, which I think is quite brilliant. So I have to say, I'm not prepared to do that on this trip because I just didn't get it together in time. I don't think I would need it. But if I was traveling while having a flare-up, I think that is exactly what I would do next time. That is a great suggestion. So that is it for today. I hope you found this helpful if you are living with ulcerative colitis or inflammatory bowel disease and you need to go on a road trip. Maybe this got you thinking about some of the ways that you can make it easier on yourself or some of the things that you can do to help in that situation. What would you add to the list? If you have something to add to this list that we have not mentioned in the episode, please reach out to me and let me know. If you're listening on Spotify, you can put it right into the comments. Otherwise, find me on Instagram. You can either follow me directly at the Teri Holland, that's Teri with one R and one I, or I opened up another account just for What the Poop. There's not much happening there yet, but there will be. I promise there will be more there. So you can also follow me there and let me know your thoughts there. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you subscribe, rate the show, leave your review. And if you know someone else who has ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, or any sort of digestive issues, feel free to send this to them and let them know that they are not alone. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will be back again next week, and I will update you on how the trip went. Bye for now.